Hello again, and for today, I am going to be going into the best of the 2010s in television. Now, it's going to be a little shorter this time because I don't watch reality television, but my honorable mentions are fucking massive right now. And that will be explained more than likely in the TV opinion section. So, let's go into animation really quickly. At number 5, we got Star Wars Rebels. It's to me, it's a better version of Star Wars The Clone Wars from George Lucas and Dave Filoni. It pays a lot of homage to the original trilogy. It respects the lore that Disney is trying to build way more than the sequel trilogy or the spin-off movies. And again, it respects George's vision a lot. And I really value how well this show wrapped itself up quite nicely in a little bow without, again, just ruining fucking Star Wars for everyone. So that is much appreciated in this decade. And that is why Star Wars Rebels is number 5. Number 4 is a show that was short-lived and really should come back soon because I loved it a lot. It was the one season of Thundercats 2011. A great action-adventure animated show, much like Avatar: The Last Airbender. And again, it's just so much fun. All the episodes are great. The character dynamics are awesome. The animation is gorgeous. And you really feel like Thundercats is a respected property with the way they tell these stories. Rather than, like some glorified toy commercial. And unfortunately, it was canceled too soon because no one bought toys. Except for like me and 5 other people. So, I hope Thundercats comes back at some point. But for right now, it's sitting pretty on number 4 and in my heart. Number 3 is one of my favorite cartoons of all time, if not the decade, Regular Show. Bum. I mean, it's just so classic now. It was such an anti-cartoon. But, again, lots of fucking episodes to go through. Lots of stuff that you don't need to explain to your kids. They don't talk down to your kids. And they're just great characters. They are the evolution of SpongeBob SquarePants that we truly need right now. And unlike SpongeBob, they have a finality. They have an ending. And I really appreciate that we got 8 seasons and a couple movies here and there out of this wonderful kid show. So, number 2 is a superhero show. It's Young Justice. Young Justice was canceled at the beginning of the decade and resurrected this year to an amazing season. I could not believe they followed up Young Justice Outsiders. Or not Outsiders. Young Justice Outsiders is the one they followed up with. Young Justice Invasion, with Young Justice Outsiders. I could not believe Outsiders was better than Invasion because Invasion to me was so good. And they came back kind of slow, but once they drove into the narrative, it was amazing. And the wait kind of sucked. But once the second half of episodes came out, I was just like, yes! Just like ready to dive in for more Young Justice. So I really appreciate that Warner Brothers and DC brought this cartoon back because it's frankly one of the best ones of all time. Now, 2 other best ones of all time are Gravity Falls and DuckTales, who are the winners of best cartoons of the decade. Now, DuckTales is ongoing, so it might show up next decade if I am lucky enough to still have a channel. But Gravity Falls was a 2-season show, had lots of mystery, lots of fun, great characters, great comedy humor, and did that all so well, and unfortunately was gone too soon. But they wrapped up the narrative. At least they did that one. And DuckTales is pretty much the original show, but more of a spiritual successor to Gravity Falls. And it takes that Gravity Falls format, puts it into half-hour episodes, and, just makes fun mysteries surrounding your favorite ducks. And I'm just glad that we got 2 really great kid shows that I can show my future children and not have to worry about what they're watching. Because I know what it is, and I know how fun it is. And I know that they'll love it, and that they'll see Launchpad McQuack and go, destroy the ship! And again, it will be awesome. So those are my top 5 animated shows of the decade, technically. So let's break it into live action, long format, television, comedy, and drama. Number 10 is Spartacus. Now, people would look at me like I shit in their cereal, but Spartacus is a fucking awesome show. I love what it does with the character. I love that it takes it away from this gay Dalton Trumbo narrative about communists versus conservatives. And I just love that we have a semi-accurate kind of Rome. It's just degenerate Rome that deserved to be crushed under the heels of the people it oppressed. And as the show clicked along, we lost the star, Andy Whitfield, to cancer. Liam McIntyre came in, takes the role on with no effort. Or not no effort, with no hassle. And, sorry, it's just kind of rough. It changes nothing about the show. He just effortlessly transitions the show into the next seasons. And yeah, we lost somebody that could have been a real somebody, but unfortunately we did not lose this show, and I'm really glad because it delivers on an epic finale. And it's all on Netflix, so I suggest that you watch it. And if you don't, ask your boomer dad if you could set up Stars on the go or whatever, because he probably still pays for cable. So, no excuses to not watch this show. Number 9 is also from Stars. It's Party Down, written by Paul Rudd, of all fucking people. And this show about a bunch of LA fuck-ups who work for a catering company and try to, make life better for themselves through the hustle and bustle of LA shit, was just so funny, so biting, so edgy, and so cringy at times. It just hit all of the great humor beats. And another Gone Too Soon show, but a fucking great one. So that is why Party Down is number 9. Number 8 is Community. And I fucking hate Dan Harmon, but I fucking love this brainchild of his. It is so, it's so good. I just don't know how to describe it. It gets all the feelings of going to college and, trying to make something better of yourself while at the same time having wacky hijinks and just the greatest characters that you can't hate. Even fucking Pierce. You just can't hate the old fucking boomer. So that's why number 8 is Community. Number 7, Ash vs. Evil Dead. What a phenomenal comeback for Bruce Campbell. What a phenomenal comeback for Sam Raimi. What a phenomenal comeback for Evil Dead. After that Who Gives a Shit remake with that Bruce Campbell tease, we just get this, which is the old man Ash Williams of fucking the Evil Dead stories. And he's got a great team. Lucy Lawless is in this. It's just so good, and it just, again, reminds me of how great those first 3 Evil Dead movies are. And it's a great follow-up. And it's on Stars. I believe it's on Netflix now, too. You should really check it out. Number 6, I don't think I could get away with this list if I didn't put Breaking Bad somewhere in here. And this is where Breaking Bad ended up. So, sorry to all you fans out there, but Breaking Bad is just objectively the best television show of the decade. I just happen to like 5 things better. And what makes Breaking Bad so amazing is just taking that fucking ridiculous format from last decade in the golden age, or at the start of the golden age of television, of this character who, we have to follow, the singular character when, television is, again, about a family or a group dynamic, and showcases his rise and fall. It's a great mafia, kind of crook story done on television, done expertly, everyone on point, even Skyler, just fucking nailed this. This show was amazing. But I like a couple things better. Number 5 is Vikings. Vikings, despite it being ongoing right now, is just delivering this incredible tale of, of these people who risked everything and were given all of the treasures of Valhalla. And, again, the tale of Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons. it's just so like breathtaking, and the amount of detail that goes into the show, and what they have to work with as part of being on the History Channel and trying to maintain an accurate representation of the Vikings. Expertly pulled off. Great cast, really fun cast, and again, solid work from this History Channel that was more famous this decade for fucking Ancient Aliens. So really appreciative that Vikings exists and that it's a great television show. So number 4 is Stranger Things. Now, yeah, the 2 seasons that follow the first one, not so great. But the first one, man, was so goddamn good. And the follow-ups I enjoy enough to justify this being this high on my list. And Stranger Things, again, it takes all these 80s ideas and tropes and makes something new and fresh with it. And I, again, can't wait for the 4th season, even though the 2 seasons that have followed are not the greatest things on television. I hope that they start trying to tie everything up, or tie it all together, explain why, these seasons went the way they did. And again, solid casting, phenomenal work in the writer's room on that first season. And again, there's a lot of shit, but there's also a lot of corn. So that is why Stranger Things is that high. Number 3 might be a tie, but for me, Eastbound and Down was the best Danny McBride, Jody Hill, David Gordon Green show on HBO and on television. To me, one of the best comedies of the decade. Again, another singular character with this group dynamic, just delivering the fucking zingers, bro. Like, just delivering this fucking great piece of television. You should really check it out, man. It is so funny. Kenny fucking Powers! And let's move on, because I don't want another long-ass video like the last one that I just did. Number 2 is The Boys. And The Boys is one of the best of the binges that I have done this decade. I couldn't put it down. The narrative was engaging and dynamic. It was honestly better than the fucking book, which, how many times can you say that happens? And overall, The Boys is just a refutation of all the superhero shit we've been getting this decade. And it's amazing, and I can't wait for the next season. So that's all I really want to say about it. But number 1, unfortunately, is about a superhero. A superhero I've loved ever since I was a little kid, who got a fucking just mess of a movie. And they threatened another one every couple of years or so. And when Marvel got it back, he went right to television, and it's Marvel's Daredevil. And oh my god, this is the Daredevil fan show, or the Daredevil adaptation that every fan has wanted. You got an amazing Elektra, a fucking cool Punisher kind of bit. You got great Foggy Nelson, Karen Page, an amazing Daredevil. The Kingpin is just perfect. All of this shit is perfect. And again, it was revolutionary at a time where superhero television shows were just fucking cringe and just garbage. And Daredevil took itself seriously. It took the narrative seriously. It took the aesthetics seriously. And when that red costume hit, man, I was so fucking jazzed. I was like, yes, it was Daredevil in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And of all of the shows that Marvel made, he is more than likely to show up as Charlie Cox in the red suit in a fucking Marvel movie after, in the next decade. We just gotta be patient. He'll come back, and the show will come back, and maybe the other shows will come back, and I think we'll be right where we left off with the Netflix shows. But this is the best one, easily. The Punisher was great up until the 2nd season. Iron Fist started off like ass until the 2nd season kind of saved it. The Defenders, what should have been amazing, and yet it was kind of just okay. I really love it, but I acknowledge that it has multiple flaws, specifically in the plotting. And it's unfortunate because it started off so strong with Marvel's Daredevil, and that's why Marvel's Daredevil is the number 1 spot on my list. But before we get into the TV opinions, we do have 5 big-ass stinkers in the 2010s. 5 truly awful television shows. Number 5 is Big Mouth. Big Mouth is a disgustingly degenerate cartoon filled sometimes with propaganda for organizations that I don't really care to mention. And one of them is fucking Planned Parenthood. And again, it's like, it's done in this cutesy kid style, but it's about fucking puberty and like kids having sex. And it's just like, no, man. Like, if you're going to do that, they need to look slightly more like they're 18. You cannot let them look like 12 and 13-year-olds. It's just too disgusting. It's just too borderline pedophilia cartoon content. And, ugh. This is all I gotta say to that. Ugh. Now, number 4 is Bill Nye Saves the World. Bill Nye was an excellent part of a lot of our childhoods in teaching us science in a fun and interesting way. And this shit is like the Trevor Noah Daily Show version of the original Bill Nye cartoon. It got so bad and so heated that, you know, there were YouTubers doing commentaries on some of those episodes, especially the gender one. The gender one was ridiculous. And we did not need to do this, all right? Bill Nye is not the same Bill Nye of yore. If I had a commentary channel when that show dropped, I would have dropped a commentary called Bill Nye's a Lizard Person. He is just some kind of fucking bitter, science-loving faggot, and he is not the guy who's like, hey, I'm going to teach kids science because science isn't that fun, and we should make it fun so that kids understand science. He took something simple and he overcomplicated it with a bunch of fucking propaganda garbage. So that's why that show's on there. Number 3, Legend of Korra. Like, again, we got a Mary Sue replacing one of the greatest animated shows of all time. And she's annoying. The only redeeming parts of her are the characters that surround her. And yet, she can never fucking truly get it together. She can't, you know, it's always about her. And, you know, it just ruins the Avatar mythos. And I, for one, can't fucking stand it. It's like the sequel trilogy to Avatar: The Last Airbender's original Star Wars trilogy. It is just so garbage. And I can't believe I, at one point, thought it was good. But after a second viewing of every season, I was just like, the only good one is the third one. But you need to go through 2 seasons of absolute trash to fucking get there. You know, of like fucking show continuity ruining trash. To get to Henry, what's his name from Black Flag? Jesus! Henry Rollins is an airbender hell-bent on destroying all bending. I mean, that was a fucking great idea, and he plays a great character in that show. It's just so bad that it was a waste of fucking time. And there are 2 more wastes of time on this list. One of them is Fleabag. Now, this is a show that is critically acclaimed. I fucking hate it. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is an unbearable cunt. Just absolutely unbearable human being. She disgusts me to my core, and I can't fucking stand her. And, you know, she thinks she's being cute with all of her fuck-ups that she enacts on this show. But, again, she is just one of these woke retards that I don't think has value to society. Trying to say, hey, I have value to society. I'm just such a big-ass screw-up. And it's just like, shut up, bitch. Shut your whore mouth! So that's number 2. Number 1 isn't shocking at all. It's Game of Thrones. I mean, you had an amazing plan from those books, and you fucking ruined it. You ruined it! So that you could potentially go on to do Star Wars, and then you don't even go on and do Star Wars? Like, bro, fuck David Benioff, fuck D.B. Weiss, fuck HBO for not pulling the plug during Season 7 once they realized, like, oh, fuck. Oh, no, there's no ship! It's just like, oh, it was just so awful. And, you know, mildly fuck you, George R. R. Martin, for being a lazy fat ass and not finishing Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring. But I hope that you've learned from their mistakes and deliver 2 great books. Because, you know, fuck knows that your properties deserved better. And they really did, because, oh my god, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. Now, let's go over the TV opinions now that all of the listicles are out of the way. My first point on this list is just too much content, JFC. Yeah. Between streaming, between channels, it's taking me forever to just nail down all my honorable mentions, which is why I'm not listing them in any of these videos. It's just fucking annoying. Like, I can't get to finishing my work simply because there's so much shit that I have to go to. It's like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. And, yeah. Again, this is wasting my time. And it's wasting everyone's time. Overall, there's so much television out there right now that I think people are not doing enough with their lives like they really plan on. And so it's a big mess. It's a big fucking mess. Number 2, TV is just kind of long-form movies now, which is excellent, but at the same time, we don't have that kind of lame episodic shit anymore, and we have fully transitioned away from that this decade. It started last decade, but it really took hold this decade. Every property that doesn't get a movie goes to TV, easily illustrated with The Boys, Daredevil, Ash vs. Evil Dead. Yeah, we don't need to do movies now because we can just make better shit on television, is really what this means. In that same note, movies are now the death sentence that TV used to be. You know, television used to be a death sentence for an actor. And what I mean by this is that, like, oh, we get to light up the small screen when they really wanted to light up the big screen. It's not a fucking death sentence anymore to be on a television show. In fact, it elevates the show. If you're a person of prestige going on a show, it looks better. That's why I think they were able to sell Big Little Lies on HBO, is because that cast was so star-studded. But in reality, it's just a bunch of MILFs and fucking nothing to do. The best part, I think, of this decade is that reality TV is no longer cool. Nobody gives a shit what reality TV is up to because we got so much great television that we don't need this cheap crap. And at the same time, late night television is gasping for viewers with the news, which is great. Because late night television took a giant steaming shit this decade. And again, no bigger example of this than A Little Late with Lily Singh. It's the worst late night television show because it takes all of the awful elements of late night television this decade, puts it into one really cringy woke show, and can't even deliver jokes. It's breathlessly awful. And my final point on television opinions is that, again, the streaming services are exploding. There are too many to go around, and it's going to cause a glut in the market that will be replaced with free content. So it's a big red flag in my book. It should be if you're a television executive. You should not be investing in streaming services. You should be investing in splitting the profits with a streaming service to put your content onto, because that is the only path forward. We need to stop this before it gets out of hand. Otherwise, there will be a Napster 5.0 crisis when it comes to, getting those maps from Tortuga to get whatever you want in life. So, in conclusion, television exploded this decade. It's just, there's so much of it now. And I'm going to personally be, trying to stave off television this coming decade, only catching up with things I really like and know already. But other than that, I don't really know what to say other than, to all the television networks out there and all the streaming services companies, tread lightly, because the war for attention is upon us. And the victor will be whoever can deliver the free content.